Mark, it's a pleasure to be with you. You got a nice little bouquet of roses and everything for me.
Yeah, I think they're fake, but oh no, they're fake. Maybe they're not, but
Well,
they're
it's
for
better
you.
than it.
Next time we have to
Yeah,
do this in person, by the way.
yeah. No, I would love to. Well, I appreciate you taking a few minutes to answer some questions. I know you've had a lot of roles over the years. You know, you've been a cop, a soldier. I'm an Eagles fan, so I always remember Invincible.
Egles.
Yeah. But how did obviously you're playing a priest in this movie? How did kind of playing a professed man of God differ for you? You know, the preparation, the experience filming, the whole thing.
Well, I've spent the last 30 some odd 40 years preparing to play this role in some way, personally and professionally. You did happen to leave out the fact that I played a teacher, an astronaut.
The Happening.
I don't. Did
See,
I
I
play a
got you.
doctor? I remember my doctor.
You
I
played
probably
an
pretended
oil
to be a doctor.
driller.
Yeah. But no, I think this is certainly the most important role that I've played to date. I've done a lot of true stories as well, but I've continued to look for things that can kind of shine more light on my faith and just give people faith and hope in general, and encourage people to come together and be the best versions of themselves. And so nothing better than through telling Father Stu's story and expressing or continue to echo his message to all over the world.
Yeah, could you maybe explain to people who aren't familiar with like the idea of Mark Wahlberg starring in a faith-based movie? And I know it's not, it's rated R, it's got real life stuff in it, but could you explain, why now? Why was it so important for this project to come to fruition for you?
I think the project kind of chose me. I know I've been focused on my faith for quite some time, and whenever once I started doing that, good things started happening along the way. And so everything good in my life, personally and professionally, I attribute to that. But I always wanted to do more, and I knew I should be doing more. We've been working with inner city kids and at-risk youth and do a lot of things that we don't talk about and we don't try to take credit for. It's just what we should be doing. I grew up in a very tough environment, and there's lots of kids doing that. But if I were able to accomplish what I did, then certainly we can inspire these kids to even have bigger goals and to do more. And I know they're capable if they're inspired and they're helped and supported and encouraged and pointed in the right direction. So what really just wanted to do that, and to do that in a way that also focused my faith in a time where it was really needed and people were losing hope, and kind of shying away from faith because of all the difficulty that we're facing. But it's through those difficult times that make you stronger, and to see the way that Father Stu handled it with such dignity and grace and really embraced the suffering that he was, because he knew it would bring him closer to God, and therefore gave him so much more joy and fulfillment in life. So it's really is a movie for everybody. It's so nice to see that people are being affected in a very personal way.
Yeah, could you maybe, if there's, I don't know if there's specific points in your life, but just how your personal faith has evolved over the years, and what about your faith journey kind of helped you connect with playing Father Stu?
Yeah, I mean, you have to really share the same thoughts, beliefs at its core, right? And God, when I was really ready for it, God put a great woman in my life that I knew that would love me for me, despite the fact that I was famous and people might be interested in me for the wrong reasons. I mean, we share 4 beautiful children together, and we've certainly had our ups and downs. But it's our faith that brought us together, and it's our faith that makes us stronger and closer. You got, if I had longer, I mean, we could talk about many different things in many different areas and facets of my life. But now being committed to doing the work and doing more of it, it's exciting. It's exciting because it's far more fulfilling. And I think, we need it more than ever. And just to encourage people to all come together and be a little bit better and just try to do a little bit more.
Yeah, I know physically, you trained and put on weight for this role. Was there a go-to meal, a go-to snack or dessert that you don't normally indulge in that helped with the preparation?
Again, I would love to sit here and say I ate a bunch of chocolate chip cookies, are my favorite. So I'd love to say that I had some chocolate chip cookies and a wine at the end of the day, but I had to eat and consume so many calories and try to do it in a healthy way that by the time it came to having a little cheat meal, you didn't want to do anything other than just lay down. I mean, it felt so bad, but the journey, the spiritual journey, the physical journey, all of those things were so important and such a pivotal part of Stu's story and telling it the right way that I really needed to kind of do that physical transformation.
Yeah, and for the scenes where you were playing, his boxing, career, did your past roles in sports movies? I mean, did they help with that routine at all?
Oh, absolutely. I still approach every movie that I do as an athlete. I look for something that I have to do physically to prepare, as well as kind of learning my lines and becoming the character. I always approach it like I got to be ready before I get there. So when it's game day, all the preparation has prepared me. I can throw all that out the window and just react to whatever's going on at the time. But yeah, certainly the 6 years of training in boxing to play Mickey Ward, and then kind of getting back into that same routine with the same group of people. And actually now we started having the first conversation about doing The Fighter 2, which I know I'm on the cusp of being too old, but it would be much more about flashing back to the Mickey Ward, Arturo Gatti trilogy, but really kind of focusing on the relationship and the bond that was formed through those battles and how they became brothers. And Mickey ended up being closer to Arthur than he was to Dickie, later in life, or anybody else in his own family. I mean, they became really like brothers.
So do you think you'll get more pro athlete friends or priest friends to show up for this movie? I mean, is it you trying to get both, or?
Well, you know what? It was one of those things where aside from the priest who brought it to me and a couple that knew me and knew what I was really trying to do, we got a lot of pushback initially from people of the cloth, just because of the language, and they didn't understand why we had to push the envelope and just make it more real and more gritty. You mentioned that early on about it being an R rating and stuff, but it's truthful. It's far more relatable to people, and we want everybody to see this movie. And as far as all my athlete friends, they can't wait to see the movie. People are responding to the materials. It's not so much, me pitching them on the subject matter or anything. When people have seen the trailer or they've seen the TV spots, they're like, whoa, I want to see that. It's such an original story, and it's so unique in that way where they're like, oh, wait a second. The guy was a boxer. He was in trouble. And all of a sudden, how did he become a priest? Like, if you miss something along the way, you never really feel like it could be true. And it's that outrageous, but it's a true story.
Yeah, and I think it's crucial that you do include the reality, because that's real life, and that's how people get their faith. I'll leave you with this. Oh, sorry. I'll leave you with this two-parter. I know you've mentioned, maybe joked or serious, about playing Bill Belichick. Is a Patriots movie actually on your radar? And then a more deep question, because you are a man of faith and you kind of partaken in this intersection of faith and film. I'm curious what movies have kind of inspired you spiritually, outside of this one, whether it's growing up, early in your faith, or recently.
Well, the Belichick question, there is no Patriot movie on the radar, but I think if people I'm obviously friendly with Tom Brady, and they always say, would you play the Tom Brady? I don't think I'd be much better Bill Belichick than I would a Tom Brady. But there are no plans, but that would be fantastic. And as far as movies, I mean, I don't know. I find inspiration in lots of different movies. I love watching movies. I just recently watched Coda. There's so many movies that I've discovered, that foreign films, certainly, but Mel Gibson's Passion of the Christ, and just his ability to kind of take that on and create that love letter to the Lord the way he did, and take that big a risk on his own, was certainly a big inspiration for me to do Father Stu the way that I did it. So, but I've so many movies along the way. Again, that's like all the little things along my journey. I mean, there are hundreds of thousands of ones. So I'll think about, you'll make me think about that probably for the next hour. And then somebody won't even ask me, and I'll just start naming off movies that have inspired me along the way, or moments in my life that have kind of been pivotal in changing me. And so if you ever hear or see any of those tidbits, it's a later response to your question.
Yeah, I'll at least have helped the other interviewers. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, well, thanks so much, Mark. I look forward to, watching Father Stu, experiencing that, and hopefully seeing you in 5 years in the Bill Belichick movie. So
I appreciate it. Or maybe
yeah.
get one more crack at the Patriots Eagles Super Bowl.
There you go. Yeah.
Amazing.
Patriots had enough rings. So yeah. All
Yeah,
right. Thanks so much.
I think we're both a little further away from getting back there than we would like, but we'll
Yeah.
see.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much, Mark.
All
I
right.
appreciate the time.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.